Hello, it's Coy, and welcome to the Eclectic Cottage. Thanks for joining me today. I am in the art room. I've been busy working on something besides the Mardi Gras journal. That one is going to the shop today. We're having a little event, a little Mardi Gras event at the shop today. I'm bringing that one with me. It's a completed project, and I am ready to move on. And I just wanted to stop in quickly before I leave today with a little art room update. I'm putting away I'm planning on doing a small little amount of pages each month, okay? Learn More in 2024 is my thought for the year, my intention for the year. And this was my January journal where I just, stashed some things. This was from the Junk Journal January prompts. And I did some of them. I didn't do them all. But I did some of them throughout my pages. And this is my daughter. It's not a brand new photo. I also put this little zine that I made just before the new year. I made this on New Year's Eve probably. And we did it together, actually. We did this together on a video. And let me see if I can remember how to fold them. All right, you pinch, after you've got it all completed, you pinch here in the middle. And, hey, cooperate. Fold the pages together like... All right, I do know how to do this. It's just not cooperating with me. Okay, all right, now you've got it like this, and it makes your little book. Fare thee well, 2023. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees, the flowers and the trees. I was scrap busting. This was just because I was picking up different things off my desk, and there was a bee there. And the little birds. This was where I wrote down my intention. My intention for 2024 is to learn more in 2024. It was New Year's Eve, 2023. And remember, it was 123, 123. That was New Year's Eve, was the date. 123, 123. Well, I guess we won't see that one very often. And I wrote just me in the Cheech here, ringing in the new year. It was just me and her. It was a quiet New Year's Eve for me. And I wrote, Chi-Chi's not a firework fan. She really is not a firework fan. Okay, and we were looking at this whippoorwill. It's more often heard than seen. I was starting the Italian journal and the Cajun journal. Up next, I still have not done the Italian journal, but the Cajun journal is complete. Okay, and 2024 to journal more. And I wrote this little private thing right here for no particular reason. Anyway, that's stashed in there. Some gorgeous pictures of my lovely daughter. My oldest daughter, Angie. I can think this because the prompt was throwback. So these were some older throwback photos of her. And January is when we start thinking about crawfish. Usually you get your first batches of crawfish mid-January. I wrote peace, love, and crawfish. Unfortunately, for anybody in Louisiana, you already know this, the prices this year are at a record high, and they're pretty much unaffordable. At the end of at the beginning of the season, they're always expensive, and an order of crawfish is usually 5 pounds. Okay, there's a lot of shells and stuff involved, but usually you get a 5-pound order, and it's around, 30-something bucks at the beginning of the season. It goes down a lot later, but, beginning of the season, it's like 30 bucks. Now it is like for 5 pounds, it's $16. Alexa, what's 16 times 5?
16 times 5 is 80.
Like $80 for 5 pounds, for one serving of crawfish. $80 for 5 pounds. So that's how it started out in January. It's gone down, I think, from $16 a pound to $14 a pound. All right, anyway, that's a Crawfish Woes if you're in Louisiana. 12th night, Mardi Gras. This was January 6th is 12th night. And I was just doing a little bit of celebrating. And this is when I was starting my Mardi Gras, the Big Mardi Gras Journal. And also, I'm not much of a reader, unless it's to learn something in particular. But you may have seen the video I did with all of the classic stories, books, that whole collection of books. I plan on working on those throughout the year, and I'm looking forward to that. But that's just a little reminder of that day. And on the 13th, this is talking about the crawfish crops, how they've been greatly affected by the long, hot drought we had all summer. Farmers not careful enough with managing the water levels may have lost much of their yield. So it was just now dawning on us that the crawfish season might be a little scarce or might start late this year. And this was my notes about that. Crawfish season is a big deal. If you live in Louisiana, crawfish season is a big deal. This we made together on a video, the little shaker card. This is the DIY one. And I put the other one in the actual Mardi Gras journal. On the 15th, I just had this little dove stamp. It was on a stamp, and it said that I was Lafayette bound. Oh, what a storm. I left Leesville just in time. Freezing raindrops and a little snow flurries had already started, but the roads were not slick yet. By the time I passed DeRidder, the raindrops were wet and not frozen. I made it to Lafayette safely. So that's my little note about going to Lafayette. And it was really great. Everybody was snowed in and they were off of school. Cam, my son-in-law, was off of work. Everything was shut down. So we had some snow days together. And that's a rarity. Everybody under the roof. No one had anywhere to go or nothing to do except just hang out and stay warm. So we did that. Louisiana, let's see what I wrote for Louisiana. It says, on January 9th. So you can see when I'm doing my personal journaling, I don't go in any particular order. Let's glue this on. I don't go in any particular order. I just, skip around and will, put things anywhere. And that's why it's kind of nice that I am doing, one a month. So at least if it's in this journal, it's something probably that happened at least in the month of January. All right. This was just a scrap on my desk. I decided to put it in my journal, but I had never glued it down. All right. I'm literally surrounded by things that are colored purple, gold, and green. I'm working on the Mardi Gras journal and using what's close at hand in my own journal that only makes sense. The Junk Journal January prompt number 7 is stitched, so that's what I worked on today. The green flower cluster and the green stitching down the side of this page. Angie's new car, Mandy staying home, goodbye forever, Jeep, 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 Jeep. Okay, that's kind of just a little personal note. And here's the stitching. And here's the green cluster. It was made, I think, out of a St. Patrick's Day flower. Anyway, it was cute. We did this together on video. You might want to look that up. And this, I am so proud of this. My granddaughter, we come from a long line of creative people, okay? There's a lot of art that goes on in our family for generations. At least 5 generations. And my granddaughter is carrying things on. She spends so much time drawing, and she's really attracted to, you know, what interests her at this moment is dragons and Sonic characters. So she draws a lot of that kind of thing. But she drew this, and you may have seen the one she did in my journal for Thanksgiving, the one in a pumpkin. And just look how great she does. And I love her little signature. Maylie Rain Cole. So I thought I would show that off. These are photos from the shop that my son-in-law took. For whatever reason, when I printed them out, I printed them on a beige paper instead of a white paper. So I did not put them, I reprinted them for the Mardi Gras journal. But I put these, since they were already printed, I put those in my own little January journal. Crawfish, we got crawfish on our mind. And this, when I was there in Lafayette, my granddaughter made this for me, not this past Mother's Day, a Mother's Day past. And I never received it. But it, you know, little things mean a lot. I'll hold on to this forever. She says to Grandma, you are awesome. You're one of my favorite people. I love you. Okay. And she says, this is when we was bunnies, which is an inside joke between her and I. Because when she was little, about this little, okay, she gave me a Mother's Day card with these 2 bunnies on it. And I hung it over my desk. And years later, I guess she must have been about 5. And she had moved away. And when she came back home for the first time, she came into my room. I was sitting at my desk, and she looked up and saw that card, and she says, Grandma, that's me and you from when we was bunnies. So we have forever, we forever send that back and forth to each other over the years. That's me and her when we was bunnies. So this was my little sweetheart. And this is her now. Dear Grandma, you are so wonderful. On Mother's Day, I think of you, the unconditional love you give, the sweet and generous things you do. You've made a huge difference in my life. I love you more than I can say. That's why I give this poem to you and wish you a happy Mother's Day. She's so poetic. So I'm going to hold on to that forever. And this is just a little thing. I wrote Lafayette, Louisiana on it. I don't know why. I could put it right here. Let's do that. Oh, this is why I didn't. I spent a week in Lafayette with Mandy and the kids. Weather had everything closed down, so everyone was home. So nice. I guess I won't glue it down. And Marlia gave me this one that she made also. My Grandma is Grand. And this was also from a couple years ago. But I just received it, so it's going in my journal. And this is just a Mardi Gras mask, an extra Mardi Gras mask. I stuffed it in here. And what else? Yay, the Mardi Gras journal is complete. Flip through it is video number 129, TEC. It's on the TEC playlist. Some journals are harder to let go of than others, like this one. Yeah, that one's a little bit hard to let go of, but today I'm taking it to the shop and releasing it. Okay, hopefully, you know, it will provide some inspiration for someone else to express their creativity and to, you know, store their memories and to, I have an alarm going off that I'm going to need to go see about. Okay, I'm back. That was an alarm going off in a different room. I needed to go see about it. There's no way that I could have kept going with my video with that thing going off. And we'll take a look at this one as we go. This is my new one for February, my new little journal. We'll fill it with some thoughts and ideas. But that's not the reason I turned, none of that is the reason I turned the camera on this morning. I am, without doing a lot of thinking, I am starting a new journal, and I think there's going to be 2 of them. And I just wanted to turn the, the camera on and, show you, a junk journal in the true sense of the form. I think when they originally started, a junk journal was, pretty much all junk. Maybe it's the cake box. Maybe it's the dog food bag. All of the things that you use. But, digitals, some people are purist and they do not want to use digitals or anything that could be considered new in their journals. I do a mixture of both. But I do use used things as much as I can, junk. Like I'm going to reuse these for the covers of this of these journals. These are old linen napkins. I'm going to use those to cover the journals. And I just wanted, to mention some of that for, for those of you that are new to junk journaling and could be a little bit, confused about what's the difference between a junk journal and a scrapbook and what have you. There's no right or wrong way to do a junk journal. Okay, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to cut these down. An 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper is usually what I use, what most of us use for our journals, unless we're making the tall, slender ones, or we're using a book, an altered book, or using a book cover that's a different size. But these pages this size are the easiest to come by. Our printer, if we're using digitals, our printer prints this size. And that's what I'm doing. So 8.5 by 11, because, let me show you this, because there's, on my printer, there's no choice, I have no choice. There's always this little margin, little white margin. So my pages are usually a little bit smaller than 8.5 because there's going to be a margin. So they're usually a little smaller than 8.5 by 11. So I usually make my covers pretty much 8.5 by 11. Okay, and if I'm using a file folder, I just go ahead and make it long enough to include the spine, and I don't have to, to put them together. So I want these 2 journals to have about a 2.5 inch spine. So 11, 12, 11, 12, 13, 8.5 by 11, 12. All right, so I'm doing it in half. So 2.5 would be 1 1/4. So 5.5 to 6.5. Maybe I'll just do a 2 inch. I can do a 2 inch spot, a 2 inch spine. So 5.5 to 6.5. So I'm going to cut these at 6.5, and I'm going to have a 2 inch spine. Let me write that down. All right. I want to have a 2 inch spine. So I'm going to cut these at 6.5 by 8.5. Okay. Oh, I hear it's starting to rain. That might greatly affect the event that we're having today. Ugh. All right, so 6.5. After this video, I'll have to check in with my son. All right. 6.5 by 8.5. That leaves me a lot of leftovers to try and figure out what to do. I don't usually use cardstock too much in my journals. I feel it you know, that things don't have to be that heavy. But those are pretty nice scraps. Maybe I'll use them for something. So let's do this one. 6.5. Eight and a half tall. All right, 6.5 by 8.5. All right, and then I'm going to cover it in the fabric. And before I turned the camera on, I had already started cutting. I'm cutting the hem off of these napkins. And I'm going to hold on to these. I don't know for what, but maybe I can use them for something. All right, and the main reason, again, for turning the video on today is, you know, just as a reminder that even though we're using some items that are new, considered new digitals, we still, in a junk journal, we recycle as much as we can. Recycle, reuse, thrifted items, and I'm thinking that the 100-day project starts pretty soon, and I think I'm going to try and do some junk journaling every day, which, you know, isn't that new. I do it most every day, but I'm going to junk journal every day and, you know, and go over some of the basics so that I have a playlist of all the basics for not only, you know, for myself and, you know, for, you know, those that come to my channel that are new to junk journaling, or even for those of, you know, seasoned pros that have been doing this for years and have, you know, taught me by, you know, by me watching your videos. You know, it'll be reminders of, you know, things that we can do, things that we can put in our, you know, put in our journals, and, you know, how to do this. So I think that I'm going to definitely do this. I'm going to definitely junk journal every day. I don't know that I'll be able to post a video every day. We'll see how that goes. But there should be more videos than I've been posting lately. Holidays are such a busy time, and I'm glad for things just to slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit. Let me get back in the art room on a regular basis. All right, I'm going to probably go ahead and end this video. And in the next video, we will, you know, cover the, you know, make our covers and, you know, get our pages and signatures ready. And I will turn the camera on and bring you along for the ride if you like. All right, so making 2 new journals with no particular plan in mind at the moment. 2 new journals out of junk. And we'll see where this leads us. It's not the Italian journals. It's not going to be the Italian journals. I know that. These hopefully will just be kind of quickies that I can get finished quickly. The Italian journal is going to be a lot like the Mardi Gras. It's going to be a labor of love, and there's going to be a lot of thought involved in putting that whole thing together. These are going to be more simple than that. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. If if you stayed with me this long, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and come back often. All right, I'll see you real soon.